Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As I was about to title today's video, I created a new 99 dunk build in NBA 2K23 and I'm here to explain to you guys whether it was worth it or not. So, with this video, I want to first and foremost explain. I made a video a couple of weeks ago talking about my final build of 2K23 and it kind of had some backlash on me because then I made a new build and I apologized for it and I said that was going to be my last build, and now here we are, another new build within like 2 or 3 weeks of each other. Now, what I want to explain real quick is that with this new 5-out style that I've been doing, I need a little bit of experimentation between all the things that I want to do with it. And whether it's the 92 pass act build that I made with the 89 3-pointer as well, as opposed to this one only having 85 and 83 3-pointer, but as you can see, the 99 dunk. Not to mention, I have a couple other things I want to try too, with the close shot being 85 for the gold fast twitch. Maybe want to implement some post hook game into my game as well. Still keep the layup exactly where I need it, and not to mention that the close shot being 85 gives gold fearless finisher, which can also contribute to the driving layup aspect of the build too. Or another example being, let's say, maybe the other build that had the 92 pass act that I was just referencing from about a week or two ago that had only 79 perimeter defense and 78 steal. I still thought that was a really good defensive build, but I did find that I wanted to be a little bit better of a defender so I could maybe be more viable as far as guarding other teams' point guards, not having to just only guard the wing and only be able to guard, let's say, maybe shooting guards at best. But regardless, as you can see, the build is not really that different compared to the new builds I've been making. It's more so just, again, the pass accuracy is a little bit more reasonable at 85 for the Hall of Fame dimer. I don't think 86 is necessary. I don't throw outlets. As you can see, my rebounding is 49 at max, so I'm not going to be crashing rebounds that ridiculously amount, or even run break starter for that matter either. So 86 was not necessary if you ask me. That is also the thing that I would say I've tested the most off having that 92 pass act, was the fact that I don't think Needle Threader is that great a badge. To be real with you, I have thoughts of maybe even just taking this off. Currently, I can't get the Hall of Fame dimer, so like realistically, I'd be running Hoff dimer with, you know, no floor general or anything like that, and maybe even considering just not running Needle Threader or floor general, and then with my extra playmaking badge point that I get, maybe even just throw silver killer combos on. I'm not exactly sure, or I could even go with the double finishing core, where as you can see, as far as playmaking goes, I don't run Needle Threader and don't run bailout, and then I could just run simply put quick first step, a little bit of dimer, and then handles for days, unpluckable, clamp breaker, etc., etc. Pretty much the bare necessities as far as playmaking goes. And then for finishing, as you can see, could go OD ridiculous amounts with it. I don't think Rise Up is going to be worth it. Obviously, it's tier 3. I only get it on bronze anyway, so not really going to be necessary if you ask me. Aerial Wizard could be something I throw on, potentially, but as you can see, I would have the ability to run Masher, Fearless, Fast Twitch, Pro Touch, Slithery, Limitless Takeoff, Poster, and Acrobat with Bronze Back Down Punisher as well. Now, you might think like Laker, maybe you would want to throw layup timing on or something like that as well, just because you can run Pro Touch. I have thoughts of that as well, potentially, but with the way that I kind of dunk the ball in this year's game, it's a lot of dunk meter. It's a lot of just relying on the dunks in general, and I don't know if layup timing is going to be for me. I do know for a fact, though, that I will be implementing some post hook into the game with the fact that my close shot is going to be really good. Not to mention, too, with that 85 close shot and the fast twitch and the masher, I really do think that even if I'm stalled out and can't really get a great dunk opportunity, which we'll get to that in a second. I know the whole point of the video is the 99 dunk, but if I'm stalled out and I can't get to a great dunk opportunity, I have all types of things to resist those said contests. By really 6'7" pure locks are really the people that are going to generally be matched up on me, where they're meant to guard pick and roll point guards because that's what comp pro am is full of, right? But then when it comes to 5-out, teams don't know whether they want to put their 4s on me or their 3s on me, aka their lock or their back end. The back end provides more block and interior defensive capabilities, whereas the pure locks create more steal opportunities and can really pressure me with the ball in my hands because obviously I only have the gold unpluckable. And back ends can't really pluck you like that. Like having the gold unpluckable to their silver glove because they're 6'9" with like 90 steal at best is not exactly a tough time as far as being a ball handler goes. So those are the matchup nightmares that you can kind of create. Not to mention I can maybe do some things like get a pick and pop set for me by a shooting, like my shooting guard that has a shooting guard guarding them, and then boom, I can fish for that matchup. I get a 2 on me, and now I can take them down into the paint, whether it's for dunks or for hooks or for paint mashing, or for even just hitting a Westbrook and getting down there, and then I can even still get a standing dunk even quicker, for that matter, with fast twitch, or just in general at a more reliable rate because I have 85 close shot to fall back on if it doesn't turn into a dunk. So there are a lot of capabilities of this build, and I think the main key of it is that I, at my core and at my heart, am a scorer in the paint 100% when it comes to 2K23. So to only run badges like this, simply put, between Agent 3 on silver, Green Machine on gold, volume on maybe silver, or maybe even for that matter too, just split the difference between these two badges. And then to go with blinders in the tier 3 might really be all I need, to be honest with you, as far as shooting goes. And I think 83 3-pointer is plenty capable. I'll even show you guys my jump shot for that matter too. I think it'd be kind of cool to just do that with this video as well. But I also can't really use bailout that often either. I mean, with the dunk meter, when you start the meter, you are locked into it. It's not like a regular dunk where if you just go up with it and you're like, this is a horrible take, I'm going to hit my A button and it'll fling it somewhere. It doesn't exactly work like that. With the dunk meter, as soon as you get that meter to visually pop up, it is extremely hard to pass out of that stuff. Like, you really can't do it unless you're maybe like I don't even know how milliseconds exactly work, but let's just say 10% into the dunk meter. You can't bail out of it after that point. And I don't think I really use this badge that often. Not to mention, I don't really shoot shots that I think are going to be semi-contested, and I don't need bailout quite as much, in my opinion. So that does give me some good versatility as far as what I can run for my core badge patterns, the badge loadouts, stuff like that. Obviously, like I said, the shooting's pretty set in stone. I'll maybe just play around with some tier 1s after that point, but that's probably it. And honestly, I don't really need volume shooter either, so we'll see. Maybe I'll just go clutch. Now, you did see as well, real quick, if we go back to the ratings, my free throw is at 89. You guys are probably wondering, what's the purpose in that? So I did set like my boys up. Like, I got Joey on a build that had 86 free throw or something like that, and long story short, I wanted him to be the designated free throw shooter for like defensive 3 seconds, let's say transition take fouls, anything like that, so that he could be at the line and get his play take quicker. But in retrospect, I'm low-key thinking, why don't I just do that anyway? And not to mention, when it comes to bonus, if I get fouled, I'll be automatic from the free throw line. And playing with this build, I may just in general end up at the line a lot more with the fact that I'm going near the paint. I'll be down there. They might intentional foul me or something like that if they know they can't handle me in the paint or anything like that. Like, let's say the 6'7" peers or the 6'3" shooting guards, stuff like that. It may draw a good bit of fouls. Not to mention, me and Zeke were looking in our My Career stuff, and you guys can do this for me if you would like as well, and feel free to come back to this video and put your input. But when I was in My Career, I decided to kind of look into this draw foul aspect of the build, and I come to find out, let's go ahead and do the averages a little bit, between 99 dunk and 80 driving layup. If you meet right in the middle between the two of those, that totals up to pretty much 90. Or in which case, if you can do the simple math on this, if you go down 9 on driving dunk, that puts it to 90. If you go up 9 on driving layup, that puts it to 89. So really, the average between those two would be 89.5. I want to know from you guys what your average between your dunk and your driving layup is, and see if that comes out to your draw foul, because I'm really interested in the fact that my draw foul was 89, but then when Zeke was looking at his build, his finishing was extremely low on the build that he was looking at. It was like 30 dunk and like 70 driving layup or something like that, and it came out to like 50 something draw foul, which I don't really care to do the math on that myself personally, but I mean, we did it in the moment and it came out to be somewhat similar as well. So I'm curious to see what your guys' draw foul is as well. But besides that, I will say this build absolutely draws way more fouls, and I think also to credit with that is Limitless Takeoff being on Hall of Fame. If you can get locked into your dunk sooner and you get further into your animation, I think when people kick you out of the dunks, it does lead to more fouls as well. And let me tell you fellas, when you get some free throws on any build with Accelerator, or just any build just in general, you get a lot of takeover, and that lot of takeover goes a long way. Not to mention, a lot of you guys know I play with a couple of people on the court that run play take. We set up our bigs to have it. We set up even our shooting guard with Zeke to have it as well. And what I'm thinking to do off of that is run extender. We're going to get some runs in with this. I'm going to see how I feel about extender versus accelerator. I think low key, if my teammates can be running some play take very consistently and I'm getting a lot of dunks with like double slash or maybe slash play as my secondary, I might be able to really go crazy with extender. We'll see. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about it yet, but I do want to get some runs in with this. But yeah, as far as the total badge counts go, 28, 17, 23, and 11. I didn't exactly go over this defense too much, so let's go ahead and do that real quick. So as far as where I'm going to put my last badge point of the season, like as in when I hit level 39 this season, I think I might want to go defense, and I might just go Hall of Fame Menace and drop Workhorse off entirely, because as you're going to see, I could eventually core Gold Challenger. That will give me 1 extra badge point as opposed to running the Silver Interceptor core. So then that would make, like, let's say figuratively, my Workhorse Gold right now, and then if I put an extra defensive badge point in too, that would make it so I could run it on Hall of Fame. But then I could decide between Workhorse or Menace, or just in general to run other, like, just a scattered amount of things on the bronze points between like Menace, Workhorse, Box Out Beast, whatever the case may be. Regardless though, I just wanted to say, I do think this is a good level of defense right here. Run the Gold Challenger, Silver Clamp, Silver Interceptor. This is a really good wing defender, and I think debatably could even guard ball for that matter. This is exactly what I use perimeter defensive wise on my main build. It's just the fact that I don't have Silver Glove, which, yeah, is not exactly great to run only on bronze, but honestly, I think this level of perimeter defense can definitely guard ball. I've done it before, and I think I can still do it as well. And even if I can't, it's an elite wing defender. This is really good level of Challenger, Clamps, and Interceptor to be putting on the wing defense at 6'9", and I really do think that goes a long way, man. You could bait a lot of things. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen through the gameplays. I've been doing a lot of bait defense off the wing, daring them to pass the shooting guards, and then I can just return back there, or I can even play rotation based, help into the corner if we're setting up a rotation toward that corner. And yeah, long story short, I do think this is a very viable defender, even though obviously, as you can see, the block is only 27, interior D goes to 56 or 58, and then the rebounding only to 49. I don't think in Pro-Am this is really a big deal, and that's what I've learned through a lot of the experimentation of my build so far as well, is that I don't think the rebounding is exactly necessary. I don't get a lot of offensive rebounds in the first place anyway. It's what I did originally with my main 5-out build that I made, first, essentially, with 85 3-pointer, and it had 85 offensive rebound as well for Silver Rebound Chaser. I don't think that's necessary, and I think it's kind of spending a lot of points on the build, personally. And again, interior defense, as long as I can set up rotations and be verbal as a lockdown, and be verbal when I'm guarding ball as to how to have my teammates set up for that rotation, then everything's perfectly fine. All I have to do is guard perimeter anyway. And I think that's the fact that a lot of 6'7s and 6'6" pure locks play, is the fact that they aren't going to switch down into the paint anyway. So as long as they can set themselves up to rotate to a corner, or rotate out to the wing, or stay on ball and set their help defender up to rotate somewhere else as well, then it's all good. And that's how I think this build will be as well. Now, let's get back to the 99 dunk aspect of the build. I'm going to run a real quick highlight reel. We already showcased it in yesterday's video with the straight arm tomahawks as far as the animations I'm running. But yeah, just to come over to these real quick, I have a couple of animations I want to show. So the contact dunk, cool and all. This is more so a clip that's highlighting the limitless takeoff, and this is with that straight arm tomahawk. So as you can see, dunk meter, it's gonna pop off from mad far, and I gotta say, the consistency of my dunks has been really good. I think the Hall of Fame takeoff is also really nice because I don't get a different animation very often, even though, as you can see, like right hand, left hand, yeah, sure, it makes a tad bit of a difference, not to mention the takeoff range is a little bit different, but I like the consistency I'm getting through this stuff, and I like the fact that the dunk's green a little bit easier, it feels like, as well. That might just be, placebo, me thinking that's the case, but I feel like the dunk's potentially green a little bit easier, and I'm also making the whites a tad bit easier as well on the really bad slightlies and the really bad, I should say really bad slightly earlies and really bad slightly lates, but that's my true take on it. And I also have been hitting some lates and earlies too, but to be fair, I do that on other builds as well. So it kind of, I need more reps on it to really give you guys a good answer as far as whether 99 dunk really makes a huge difference from 94. It's not like this dunk meter is significantly bigger. I don't think that's the case at all, but I will say this too, the X button dunking is significantly easier than my other builds. Like, to hold X just gives me dunks way more consistently. I get kicked out of the dunks, yeah, sure, but I get fouled way more. And then also with this build having the gold fearless finisher as well off the close shot rating, it really goes a long way when you do get kicked out of those dunks as well. And I mean, it's really ridiculous how much I get fouled. I cannot stress that enough, bro, to be real with you. But anyway, we're gonna need some real gameplay with this, and I do understand that, so I'm hoping to get into some Pro-Am runs with this build really soon. And I do apologize, like I said, for any of the people who, see my videos and I talk about this is my last build, this, that, or the other, then I'm like, oh, well, I lied, but I think this one's gonna be my last build now. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say, I don't know anymore. Like, I think this should be my last. I don't really see any reason I would make a different one, but who knows? Maybe I'll feel different about the 99 dunk eventually. But to be fair, I think my style supports the 99 dunk a little bit more, and I think I still want to play some defense too. I obviously have enough pass accuracy now. It's not the 78 that I had on the original build, but that's just not acceptable to run at point if you ask me, when I'm playing like pure 5-out point guard, ball in the hand consistently all over the place. And I also think if I can't score with the 85 close shot, I'm going to need to just get better at it, period. Simple as that. I think adding a hook factor and a mashing ability to this build could go a long way. So we'll see as far as what that does for my game as well, but I wanted to show you guys the build real quick and show you what I was doing with it. I'm going to go to the builder real quick just for anybody that wants to copy it over as far as the extra badge points that I put on it. Also, shout out to AK. This dude's standing right next to me as I'm recording the video, so I know bro's probably gonna watch this, but hey, shout out to him. All right, so here's the full creation of the build that I've created right here. So I'm gonna make it a point guard. Obviously, lining up at the A button is really convenient. Not to mention the fact that obviously your pass act is gonna be pretty good too. It makes sense, and you can obviously make 6'9" PG. So it's absolutely what I'm doing right here. Minimum weight for the sake of stamina. Now, you could maybe up the weight a little bit more to something if you really wanted to add like certain things in here, but I mean, I'm not putting D board up. I'm not really putting interior D up or anything like that. Not strength either. So there's no point in raising those maxes. So minimum weight absolutely makes sense. 7'6" wingspan. This actually is a big reason for this, right? So a lot of people are going to watch this video and be like, well, why didn't you just make a 6'8"? And we'll talk about that real quick as well, because the badge tiering is a huge thing I want to talk about while we're in this builder. But as you can see, if I went 7'7" wingspan, I don't get 83 3-pointer, and I believe that's a really big threshold to hit for that Silver Agent 3. It makes a huge difference. So what actually happens too is if you go the other way, trying to get 85 3-pointer, as you can see, you would not get 99 dunk. So at 6'9", to get 99 dunk and Silver Agent 3, you need exactly 7'6" wingspan. So that's exactly what we're doing here as well. Now, let's talk about what makes a 6'9" so elite compared to a 6'8", because I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be like, oh, look at Joe No's video. Like, you're going to see his build, and he has 99 dunk as well. I actually, shout out to Joe, because I'm going to reference some of the things about his build that I remember just from seeing it. He can't afford to run Slithery because it's also a tier 3. So he has Takeoff, Slithery, and Poster all in tier 3, obviously, right? So that's a big issue, is the fact that all of those 3 things are going to be tier 3. And at Hall of Fame level, that's a combination of, obviously, if you combine 8 times 3, that's 24 finishing badge points right there alone. And you need to spend 10 points between a tier 1 and tier 2 already. So you'd have to have, if you only ran 1 core, so it's pretty much, you would need 24 plus 10 would be 34, but then you minus 8 because you can core one of them. Then flat out, you would need 26 finishing badges to be able to even put on Limitless Takeoff, Slithery, and Poster. And that's completely discounting anything between like Fearless, Acrobat. Obviously, you have to fill in points between tier 1 and tier 2. So obviously, you'd have to put something like that on. But again, that's 26 finishing badge points. And that's pretty tough, bro. It definitely is. Now, to be fair, I have that as well. But obviously, as you guys could see, with the single finishing core, I could still run Fast Twitch, Poster, Takeoff. Obviously, we had Fearless Finisher on as well, Slithery, Hoff Pro Touch, and Silver Acrobat. That's a pretty big deal, to be real with you. I mean, that's a lot of finishing badges. So that's big issue number 1 of a 6'8" versus a 6'9". Now, if we come over to the defense as well, let's talk about the defensive situations. So again, to reference Joe's build, and I hate to do this because obviously it's his content, and shout out to Joe, you could watch his video if you would like as well. But to reference his build, Challenger is also a tier 3, and then Clamps is also a tier 3. So all he can afford to run on his build, even though his perimeter defense is pretty solid and his steal rating is also pretty solid too, all he can afford to run is the Gold Pick Dodger and Silver Interceptor. Simple as that, because they're the only badges you can get that are tier 2 and tier 1. Now, as far as the negatives of making a 6'9" instead of a 6'8", it's really all in this ball handle spot right here. So you only get 87 ball handle, which conveniently does give you Gold Clamp Breaker, so it's at least something worth noting. But 89 ball handle would give you Hall of Fame Quick First Step, and 88 ball handle, I believe, would give you the Kobe Bryant Signature Size Up, which he absolutely loves, and I would love if I could run too. Now, I can't run it, so that's the big issue, right? But personally, I feel really good about the Rafer Alston Signature Size Up. It's something I use pretty often. Not to mention, I feel pretty okay about the Gold Quick First Step as well. I really have no issues with it, and I think personally, I'd rather have the elite finishing aspect of the build and all of these versatile things that I can run between just being able to, you know, be able to run Limitless Takeoff and Slithery as a tier 1, tier 2. I think that goes a long way for these to total up to a total of 10 badge points instead of 16 to be able to have them both in the tier 3. And then for that matter too, I'd obviously have to run 3 tier 3s, which is extremely hard to do with the cost that they all provide. Anyway, yeah, this is the build right here if you want to copy it over. Like I said, the takeovers are pretty simple. It's slash, sharp, play, and lock, and I don't really see myself running anything other than slash and play. And 100%, I'm never going to change anything off of the primary easy blow-bys take. I mean, that is a huge deal for the sake of the dunk meter size and just to be able to open things up on offense for me when I have it. Maybe I could see myself maybe running a sharp take just to open up the drive lanes a little bit more. People would have to respect the jump shot, but I don't see myself playing like that. I see myself as more of an inside-out player rather than outside-in. And, you know, as we're talking about me versus Joe as far as our styles right here, I think that's kind of where it is. Like, Joe is a much better shooter than me and much better at setting up his shots, whereas I believe I'm, you know, it is what it is. I use my dunk meter a whole lot more, and I think I'm more inside-out is pretty much what I'm getting at. So that's what I really value in this build. 23 playmaking, 17 shooting, 21 finishing, 11 defense, the ability to play perimeter defense at a legitimate rate as well, and I could even feature as our on-ball defender if I'm not playing 5-out. As long as I'm playing PNR teams, I feel very confident about me guarding ball, and even for that matter, maybe with the right set of circumstances, I could guard ball against 5-out, but that's hard to say considering obviously I have 27 block and 58 interior defense. So we'll see as far as what we do on defense. But currently, I feel really good about it. I think it's a really great build, and I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, for drop a like, sub if you're new to noties, all the good stuff. And like always, try to 1 to 2,000 likes. If you made it to the end of the video, put Laker in the comments, or put 99 dunk, or put dunk in the comments so it supports me all the way through. Real quick, I did tell you guys I was going to load up the jump shot too, so we'll go ahead and do that as well. Alright, so in a separate video, I will probably detail a lot of my animations between like the jump shot, the dunk style, stuff like that, or just in general, like show it as well is pretty much what I'm saying. But I'll probably detail more of the dribbling and stuff like that too, how to utilize these animations and what to look for as well. We'll maybe talk about the hop jumpers too, because this is a really debatable like topic. It's up for a lot of debate because it's pretty cheese, but we'll get to that in another video. Anyway, besides the point, the jump shot real quick, we're gonna get to that. So this is my Saddiq Bey and Oscar blend. Now, I did it as much as I possibly could into Oscar to be able to get this, like, you know, without the 3-point requirement hitting this threshold that you would no longer be able to run the jump shot for. So as you can see, 83 3-pointer is the max. Now, does that mean I would want more Oscar even if I could put it? To be honest with you, not exactly, because as you can see, if you turn the speed down all the way, it does show as an A. Now, if you went more into Saddiq Bey, you'd be able to get A+, but obviously I don't want to go too low on it because then the defensive immunity starts to suffer, and I'm more so okay with the idea of maybe, let's say, this is what I actually ran originally. I just felt like the jump shot was maybe a little too fast for my liking, so I kind of just pushed it more Oscar, because as you can see, like I said, the Oscar slows the speed down, but it raises the height in the defensive immunity. I know you can't see it because the height is capped out at A+, but that is what it does, and it also slows the jump shot down a tad bit. Not to mention, I will maybe mention this in another video too, where we talk about like secrets on offense nobody wants to know in 2K23. I have a lot of plans as far as videos go, but uppers really influence your speed on the fades. So if I were to fade 3 with pure Saddiq Bey upper, it's going to be ridiculously fast. It's going to significantly speed up your fades, your like post hops, stuff like that. Anything to do with that type of stuff, the upper influences it significantly. It still will also influence your standing jump shot speed as well. But again, this is what we're more so looking at. I'm going with more of like a 54% Oscar, 46% Saddiq Bey. I think it's a really good jump shot. I'm loving it. I need to get more reps on it because what I was running for the most part was a 62% Saddiq Bey and the 38% Oscar. It's what I've been running for the majority of this season so far. I wanted to speed up the jump shot a tad bit, but honestly, in retrospect, I'm very okay with just more so going with this right here. Exactly. So we're going to rock out with this. It's what I was already doing like early on, but I had played around between a lot of things, and I'm just coming back to home right here, essentially. But anyway, that is all for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new to noties, all that good stuff. And like always, try to 1 to 2,000 likes. And like I said, if you made it to the end of the video, put dunk, put 99 dunk, put Laker, whatever you want in the comments to show supports me all the way through. Anyway, that is all for the vid. And on that, take these, man. Peace.